Hello, I'm Irina Baker. Welcome to the podcast I Am a Woman of Power, inspiring stories and practical tips on overcoming challenges by going within and connecting with your divine power. In addition, every interview has a complimentary companion podcast practice at radiantmastery.com/practice. I'm here with a fascinating woman. Look at her. She's so pretty. She is wonderful. She's been a friend of mine for years, and she is just incredible in everything she does. Claudia Cooley. She has been on a mission for the last 40 years to help individuals to reach for their personal A plus and never settle for second best. She's known as a get it done coach, even though she's 20 years old, but she's been on a mission for the last 40. Hi, Claudia.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's so good to see you again.
It's good to see you too, especially here, because I know we'll have a wonderful conversation right now. And I cannot wait to hear your story. So let's start with the story. The
Okay,
challenging story?
the challenging stories that I had shared with you. Of course, I'm 77, and so over those years, you're going to have ups and downs, and you're going to have challenges, and you learn from each of them. So you don't want to ever get discouraged if you're having challenges, because you just come out better on the other side. By the way, my first book didn't come out till I was 70. My best-selling book didn't come out till I was 70, and then 3 more came. But so don't ever think you're too old to be accomplishing things. Just stay on your path.
That's an excellent point. That is an excellent point. Even though I said you're 20 years old, but oh well.
Well, the secret is out. The secret's out.
The secret is out.
And I don't feel 20, but I definitely feel like I could be 50, 40, 50, somewhere in there.
And you know what? That's a good feeling.
Yeah,
right?
because and being healthy and all of that, and vital and involved in other people's lives really keeps your life fulfilling. So one of my main challenges happened was, out of the clear blue, my husband had a sudden heart attack. And he'd been really healthy, and we had just come back from traveling 9,300 miles across America and back in our motorhome, and we had just celebrated one of our anniversaries, our 54th anniversary, and he comes home and sits down in a chair and said he felt fatigued. And I said, "Do you want to go to the hospital?" And he said, "Yes." And when a man says yes to go to the hospital, you must do that.
You better listen, right?
They never do that. So we went to the hospital and found out he'd had a heart attack the day before. And the day before, he'd been substituting in a class, and he could have just died right in front of those kids. But anyway, he had to have a quadruple bypass. And so now we're on this journey. I mean, he's my best friend. We now have been married 58 years, but he's my best friend. And if I had to lean on somebody, he would have been the one I leaned on. Well, he wasn't there to lean on. And always being a leader myself, people are used to leaning on me. And so when I needed to lean, there wasn't anybody to lean on. I mean, my friends love me, they adore me, I adore them, but they were used to being able to lean. And so I didn't have I could tell they weren't comfortable with me leaning on them. So I had to kind of just stand strong on my own.
So let me stop you there, because you are basically following already what I want to ask you ahead of time. And that's why let me stop you there to ask you. So this is the challenge, and you needed support yourself, because obviously you've been support for everybody else. You needed support. This is the time when you needed it. And these are the traditional ways, right? It's a traditional way, meaning, I call it traditional way, meaning you needed to find a way to get help from somebody outside, people around.
I needed to share my feelings and my fears and my worries and my concerns, and how do I plan my future if he's not here, and that kind of thing. Because he's been my best friend, and now he's not there. I can't share that I'm feeling distressed. He needs to feel me being strong. So I was reaching out, and I found that people weren't comfortable with that. So I basically became isolated.
How did it make you feel when you reach out to somebody hoping that they are your friends and they can help you, but you get different results? So how did it make you feel?
Well, I understood. I mean, it took me a second, but I understood and I didn't fault them for that. I didn't judge them for that. I mean, I knew
No, we don't judge, but your feeling, you still had some feelings. I mean, you can't
I was,
say
it just made me more scared. You know, it made me more fearful. It made me feel out of balance and
alone.
alone. Yeah. Yeah, definitely lonely. That's a good word for it.
Hmm.
But yeah, that would be basically how I was feeling. And then,
So that way did not work for you.
nope.
How you planned, you thought it would, not planned, but you thought it would, but it didn't work for you. So if that traditional way of reaching out to somebody didn't work, what did?
Well, in this sense of loneliness and isolation,
Mhm.
I I kept thinking and praying. Was praying to God. What do I do? Who can I talk to? Who can I reach out to? I need some direction. And I remember standing in front of my bathroom mirror saying that to God. I need some direction. I mean, I lean on God. I mean, I definitely God is my daddy, and I lean on God. But I needed a physical somebody. I thought it's what I thought. That's the traditional way. You need a physical somebody, and I did. I reached out to a gentleman that had been a colleague of mine, and he has the same value system, same belief system, and he prayed with me and prayed for me and gave me some wisdom, which gave me some courage. And that was the beginning of having some courage.
So, Claudia, you made a really good point here, a really valuable point, in my opinion. First, you reached out, and let me clarify if I understand it correctly. You reached out first to friends because that's a normal response of ours. We are humans, we need that. You did not ask God first, whom should I reach for? Or what should I do? What is my next step? You just rushed, quote unquote, right? You just rushed into that human connection because that's the regular way that we behave usually.
Mhm.
But it didn't work. So only then you step back and you said, God, tell me who you should, right? Because you ask for direction. And when you
Mhm.
did ask for direction, the direction came, yes, reach out to human, but it was direction from God, not whom you chose to call, but exactly whom the spirit, the presence told you to go to, right?
Exactly. And it's interesting because it's not somebody my first thought would have been to go to.
That's amazing
Mhm.
because that's actually confirmation that it was divine guidance.
Mhm.
How
Oh,
cool is
yes.
that?
And it gave me the peace then that I needed to go forward. And then I felt balanced and strong again. So that was, God thing, truly a God thing.
Hmm.
You're right, because when I tried to figure it out on my own, because I'm a control freak, had to figure it out on my own, it wasn't working.
It
It wasn't
wasn't
the right.
working.
It wasn't the right answer. It wouldn't have given me the right wisdom, support, strength, and
So
going.
would you say you were going in an ego way, I call it, because it's the ego who decided, okay, I need help, I am alone, I don't know, I don't have any answers, I'm scared, so I will go out based on what I already know from my old experience that
Mhm.
you need support group. But the truth is, it wasn't the case. You needed to get divine guidance versus ego way, right? And divine guidance gave you the same answer. Reach out to a human, but the specific one, the one that divine guidance knew would help you the most.
Well, I'm probably already had gifted with what I needed. They they had given them God had given them what they needed to help me. So
Right,
you had to go have to go on the path.
right. So when you were praying, you said you prayed a lot
Hmm.
and you were asking for guidance. Let's look before and after. Before that, when you were scared, would I say, I know you are a very powerful woman. I know that you've been a leader, you even coach leaders now. So everything is right and good in that department. But for the moment of that story, have you felt at that moment that you were powerless because you were alone, you didn't know the answers before you reached out to God? Could we say that?
It's yes, definitely powerless, but
Hmm.
it's like definitely just going back to the word you used earlier, alone, is really paralyzing in a way.
Well, that would be definition of powerless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Paralyzed and alone. And when you're alone, that means you're, and alone usually to me associated also, if it's in the negative sense, like yours, it's painful. Alone means there is no divine guidance. There is no any guidance. I don't know what to do. I'm alone. I have no one to turn to for help, right?
And comfort.
And comfort, absolutely, and comfort, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe the confidence as well that yes, everything will be great.
That's right. That is actually what you're looking for, is somebody to tell you it's going to be okay. Just like when
Right,
you're a little kid and your mom and dad said it's going to be okay.
right,
That's what I was looking for.
exactly. And the
And I
ego
needed.
could not provide that because ego is the child itself inside of us, that our personality is the
Mm-hmm.
child. So we need some authority, the power, that whatever. And for the moment we give it to friends, but actually friends could not fulfill that role for you.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Hmm. And when you, okay, you were powerless, that's not a good feeling. So you needed to get back into the power that you usually wield. So you started praying to God.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened? You got that, but what happened inside? What transformation happened as a result of that?
Well, when I started praying,
Hmm.
and then this name came to my mind to reach out
Hmm.
to, and I did, and then I had that interaction, and that comforted me and kind of got me back feeling more confident and on solid ground. And I began to feel again like I was back in the arms of God.
Right.
It's when you're in that other space, you just feel that loneliness. You don't feel like you're being hugged or anything. And so then I felt like I was back enveloped by my Heavenly Father, as I like to call him, my God Daddy.
Hmm.
and and so then I started to feel myself rejuvenate. I started to feel myself come back.
Do you feel, do you even, did you realize at that moment, or maybe now, or if you agree at all, that actually God was comforting you through that person?
Oh, that's what I think my point is. God had already prepared them to be able to give to me. That's why God gave me that name. That face
Right,
showed up in front of me, because He had already equipped that person
right.
to give me what I needed.
Hmm. And that's brought you back into that powerful state that you knew everything would be all right.
It's funny, I don't think of myself in that powerful state. I just think of, although I do believe in being empowered, and I do believe that we have power in us. When you say that, it makes me feel like I'm like super strong. And of course, we all hope for that. And I know
You know,
I do have a strength. I do know that, and that's a gift from God. But it's just so exciting isn't even the right word, but to know that God loves you so much that He already had prepared a way for me in my need, my fear, my challenges, but it was really a need, that He had already prepared a way. And like you said, I jumped trying to control freak, trying to make it work myself. And then, but if I just stayed, as I stayed in the path, and God didn't give up on me, and He just kept bringing it back to me and giving me that place where I could feel safe and comforted, and knew I had somebody that I could lean on if I needed to, until Dale got stronger, and then I got stronger. As I got stronger, I didn't need to lean as much. And then I got to where I didn't need to lean. And thank God Dale is super healthy now, and that was a miracle. But through that space of time, just to know that God had already prepared a path. I just had to remember.
You just had to ask.
And I had to remember to rely on that, you
Right.
know, because I'm
Not
his.
run away to somebody else, humans, but first go to God first.
Sometimes it's waiting, and we're not always good at that. We want to fix something right now. So what I really needed was some waiting time. And I actually think in that process, I started to realize what I needed. You know, you're just in that place of confusion. And then as things settle down and I knew I needed.
That's perfect, because this is leading us to the next question, and I do want to ask you, but before that I want to ask another question, because you made an interesting, very valuable point in my eyes. You mentioned about the power. When I said you're powerful, it made you sort of cringe, right? You hesitated and you didn't want to brag, quote unquote, brag about it, right? And I perceive you, I've always perceived you as a powerful woman, but it's not for you. You didn't want to say, yes, I am, right? Well, let's make a distinction. I think it's very valuable for women who would listen to or watch this interview. The distinction between power. What is the true power? What is false power? Or maybe illusion? Power is an illusion, because you said superwoman, strong, right? You would, is it, correct me if I'm wrong, you were thinking about strong, worldly strong power, the powerful woman in terms of how we would describe maybe powerful man in some political arena, powerful man, right? Because that's what we got used to. Again, this is a traditional way of looking at things. This is the power. But is it really the power we're talking about here? Because we are talking about internal, inside. God, in my opinion, is inside. We have God inside, and we go inside to reach inside and connect with the power. So, how would you distinguish between two ways of power, the worldly one and the inner one? And what's your definition of that?
Well, when you first brought it up, I thought, you know, I feel in a way that I'm a soft, loving person. And when you talk
Right.
about powerful, it sounds like somebody that's stern and stiff and structured and
The ego way, the ego
yeah,
power.
yeah.
Yeah,
But you know, I'm so much more of a feeling, relational type person, and I kind of at first I'm thinking I don't want anybody to think that I'm, you
right.
know, some big executive CEO type thing that's not connected, because
This is
that's
so wonderful. We're talking about it.
because being connected is so important to me. I mean, the relationships, that's to me is what living on this earth is about, is the relationships. So, but anyway, I don't want to ever have any walls where somebody thinks, oh, she's like up here, but I'm, you know, I'm just like everybody else.
Well, this series that I created here and I'm doing interviews for, the name of it is I Am a Woman of Power. And this name, actually, this title or the whole name came to me once when I was driving, and I stood at the traffic light, and it just got downloaded. It was such a realization, or such amazing thing that came to me from who knows where. I know it's spiritual guidance. And it was, whom do I serve, and what is it all about? And it came to me, I'm a woman of power, to help women to have that power, to own that power that they already have. They didn't lose it, but they have it, but they never wanted to acknowledge it. And you're giving a perfect example, because we think power is, that's what you described, the macho man, ego
Tough.
way, worldly power. But it's not. When I was telling you you're a powerful woman, I didn't mean that, because I don't live in that sort of reality,
Based.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Based reality. I meant inside. You've been connected to your power for a long time, and you've been making decisions from that place. So the story you're sharing is how you for a moment forgot about it and then came back very quickly and started going back again and praying and asking for guidance.
And circumstances can take you off course where you're not thinking about it. You get caught
Exactly.
up in the moment or in the circumstance. But actually, God has been the important piece of my life since I was 14, and I've walked on that journey. And so that has always been, I was just having this conversation with God a couple of days ago. It's like, I don't know why I worry about anything, because you've proven yourself over and over and over to me that you're taking care of me. So I don't have to worry about decisions I have to make or anything. You'll make it clear. And but you have to be in a healthy place too to be able to deal with that. When I was emotionally distraught about my husband not sure
Right.
if he was going to make it, you're not in your best not in your best place
You
emotionally.
plug your channel.
If that's true, yeah, clogged is right. So basically you have to get unclogged and get unconstipated, so to speak.
I got a visual of the toilet thing, the unplug. What's a plunger?
Exactly. So, but the thing is, once you get through that, and I was just sharing with you a little earlier that somebody was talking about taking back your power, and I said, really, I've never given it up, because I felt like when God became important to me and He gave me the Holy Spirit to live in my life and walk with me, that is my power.
Right.
Yeah. And so in that power, I never gave it up. But now I'm on this journey of empowering that power. So being
Right.
Being who I need to be now.
More aware, maybe, right? More aware, more conscious about it.
Well, not just conscious, but what do I do with it? So it's and my whole thing is I'm about how to make my difference in the world. I'm 77. I'm starting to think I'm pushing 80 here. And it's like these next few years, I want to make sure I make my difference. It's not just a legacy. It's really, I want to be making this difference for other people so that their lives are empowered for the rest of their journey. And then I feel if I'm making my difference in my life, it's juicy. Every morning I get up and say, I love my life. And that's because I'm getting to help other people realize their own, what they can make a difference in the world. If enough of us get really on our own path and be making our difference, we can change the world, really.
That's right. And here we're changing the world by realizing that the power that everybody thinks about is not the same power as should be addressed, right? It's illusion. That power can easily be taken away. You can have a title, you can have tons of money, then the next minute you lose that power. I mean, you lose that title, you lose the money, and suddenly you're homeless and powerless.
Right.
But it's not. So what kind of power is that? It's illusion. But when you talk about God, and God always proves Himself to you over and over and over, and you know it, then nobody can take it away from you. Not no money, no title, nothing will change what you have inside. So this is a true, real power, right?
All right. No.
Okay, and I do want to. It seems like it's becoming a habit of mine to ask you to pronounce, I'm a woman of power. Can you?
Yeah, I am a woman of power. There you go. I am a woman of power. And influence, actually. I really want to be a woman of influence. So, that power moves you into that kind of space so that you can be influential, because I really want to help people, like you introduced me, helping people realize that they don't have to be like anybody else. Just reach for your own personal A+ and never settle for second best. So when you're really in your own path, in your own lane, boy, does that bring joy and happiness, and you are able to make your difference in the world. And that's why I started this group, Women Leaders in Sisterhood, was because I knew I had been alone when Dale had his heart attack, and I wanted to create a space for women that are when you're in leadership, it really is hard to find a place to turn. And if you don't have God as your center, and even if you do, you still have to, it's nice to know that you've got others to lean on. So I brought this group together so that they can let their hair down and let the little girl come out and play, and have some space where they feel they always have somebody that they can count on. And in that group, it actually allows everybody to flourish so that they can keep growing and go out and make their difference in the world. That's
and how does that make you feel, and how does that make you generally even be? How is it for you?
Well, it keeps, I'm on purpose. You know,
Right.
I know my purpose is I'm on purpose, and if I can live on purpose, there's no stopping. I mean, there's, you know, my plan is to go to be over 100, because I'm super healthy here at 77, and that's not a mistake. I feel like God's given me this gift to be at this age and to be super healthy. And so by doing that, it's important that I don't I misuse that gift. So I'm out here really feeling shame on me if I don't go out and help other people see at 40 and 50 and 60, you don't have to be tired and you don't have to give up, and you still have a lot to contribute to the world and to yourself, and to grow and have it's all about having abundance in your health, wealth, and relationships. And as you create abundance, it overflows. And then out of that overflow, you contribute. And then you live in this attitude of gratitude that overflows to contribution. So
you just spelled the whole life plan, and spelled out everything. You mentioned gratitude and the purpose in life and the power, everything. So that's so perfect. And abundance, and how it is, you just in few sentences outline the whole philosophy of life, which is absolutely excellent.
That's cool. Yeah.
Right. Did you see that? You just did it. It's so cool.
Yeah. It is who I am. It's what I'm at. It's what I'm up to. It's what I'm about. So,
right. And that makes you a woman of power.
There I am. I am a woman of power.
So no more cringing about it, right?
Because people don't know me, I want to make sure that they don't think that I am.
Well, it's only,
I
think it's a matter of definition. It's a matter of correct communication, because you think one thing, I imply another thing, and the miscommunication happens. And the same with people. So that's why we defined it. We define what the power is. And to me, it's the power that is inside, the power of God. And when
I don't know why I reacted that way, because basically I believe in all of that.
I know. But
it was like, you know, people tell me that all the time, that they feel I'm powerful, you know, and leader and all of that. And it's kind of like, but I want people to know I'm soft and loving and caring, and, you know, it's not, but you're right. It's a misconception of what power really stands for. So it's going back to the drawing board and really identifying what powerful means.
That's right. And in fact, for women, the whole misconception, and we won't go into a big subject about women who are, I call it boldly the man's world, because it is the man's world. Men rule, and we need to say it out loud, because it's an elephant in the room. Women have been subdued for centuries, and there is a spiritual reason for that, so that's another story. But now it's the time when women need to maybe not take power back, but remember that they are powerful, and not cringe about it. I'm just playing here, but they need to remember that they're powerful, because power is inside. This is the true power. That power outside the ego's power is not a true power. And women, a lot of times women do not want that power. That's the ego part, the big one. Like you said, I don't want to be portrayed as that power. And many women do not, including myself too. But the power is not that. The power is the spiritual one. So that's my true belief and firm belief about life, from what I've learned. And that's why I'm a woman of power, is for women to understand the difference, to own that power inside, because it's there. Nobody could take it from them. It's always been there, but they were not aware of it.
Now we're just empowering that power.
Right. Right.
We have to nurture it and feed it and fuel it and let it fly. Let it soar.
That's right. And you are, when you say I'm in purpose, I'm fulfilling my purpose in life, That's another part. A lot of women do not know, a lot of people do not know what their purpose in life is. I've encountered it again and again because
Me
my
too.
clients would say, no, I don't know my purpose, and I would love to know. Do you think that your purpose is connected to, first of all, serving others, right? Serving people. Of course, you need to know in what way. And you had that interesting story about losing your voice and realizing what you need to do. If you would like to share it, sure, go ahead. That's an amazing story.
Well, after going through that whole situation with Dale and coming through that a year or so later, I had a radio show, and then I'd had it 4.5 years. And then all of a sudden I had a virus that attacked my voice. It's still croaky. I still don't have a strong, powerful voice. But I didn't have a voice for 8 weeks. So we were actually on the radio show sending out past recordings to kind of hold that spot. And then while I was in this quiet space, gave me a chance to be really quiet, and because I'm talking all the time, so it's a little hard to always hear God because I'm, and my mind's going do. So basically, it's like I felt God put me in this quiet place of not talking, and so I was just kind of resting through the virus and no voice, and it was like God spoke to me and said, you don't need to do another radio show. You've done 166 radio shows. One more is not going to matter. You fulfill that contract, so to speak. And so just go out and do what you're passionate about. That was kind of like a voice from God. So then I took some time to figure out what I'm really passionate about, which never changes. I realize it's been the same almost all my life. So I realized that's where I needed to create something for women to have that place like I needed when I was going through that crisis with Dale. And so I created the Women Leaders in Sisterhood, and I did retreats, did 4 retreats. Then I did a mastermind with those women, and then I thought, no, I want to be face-to-face. So now I have just started kind of a networking mastermind because everybody's loving to network. And I love being around people too. So I created this network mastermind, taking all my coaching skills for the mastermind part and the networking, of course. Most people know how to do that. And then just starting to help women grow personally and professionally in a safe place where they could just say what, if you're a boss, you can't let your employees know that you've got a problem. But if you can come to a group where you can share your heart or what you're dealing with, or your challenges, and we can help come up with some solutions and help you through that, then you come out the other side stronger, more powerful. So in that, that was where this vision came from. And so that's the journey now. So once a month I have this group. We met last night, and we have dinner and we fellowship, and then we share their goals for the businesses. Somebody gets a hot seat, a couple people get a hot seat. And last night we were working on building your personal mission statement, because I feel once you can identify your own personal mission statement, then you become really clear what you want to do. It doesn't matter what business you're doing, what activity you're doing. If you know your personal mission statement, you show up that way powerfully.
By the way, to get practical tips and awareness shifting activities pertaining to this interview, go to radiantmastery.com/practice to access your complimentary companion podcast practice.
I keep using the power word.
You just gave us a learning nugget, right? You gave us the teaching point. Start with them. Would you say start with the mission statement?
Start with the missions, your personal mission. Everybody does. Everybody understands business mission statements. That's a little different. That helps everybody on a team know how to, what your values are and how to serve. But this is your own personal mission statement. It comes from your heart. And what I do, you want to know how I set it up?
Yes,
okay, what I did was I gave them a list of core value words. And they went through, and there's like hundreds of words. They went through and narrowed it down until you get down to 7. Then you take those 7 words. Now they're very clear on what your core values are. Now you're taking your values and matching it to your person, to your intellect and your heart, your passion. and you turn it into 2 or 3 sentences, and it becomes your personal mission statement. So you can post that anywhere. So when you're making a decision on a career change or a relationship, whatever, if you look at your personal mission statement, then you know if it's aligning. Because if we stay aligned, that's a good place. When we get out of our own lane, that's where we get messed up and life gets hard. But when we're aligned with who we are and authentic and genuine, and then we're showing up that way, then people, you're a magnet for people. You're a magnet for goodness to come your way. But we have to show up authentically and from our heart. So like last night with somebody who had been a kindergarten teacher, younger years, and then now she has a business. And she kept wanting to relate it to her business. I said, who you are was the same you did as a kindergarten teacher, and probably you did in high school around your friends, and that you will do in any other business you ever do. It's who you are, your passion, your heart, your purpose. And if you have that kind of in a little 3-sentence, like you would a business mission statement, it's powerful. It really is, because now you've got something to remind you all the time. It keeps you connected and keeps you from going off course. So when you have a decision, you just go back and look at your mission statement. Oh, that doesn't align. Or yes, that aligns. So then you know. It helps you make decisions.
2 points. One is request. I would like to hear the example that you could give us, a specific example, maybe yours or maybe somebody else's. And the second one, does it connect? I feel the connection when you said, my dreams or goals or whatever you call them, they never change. They've always been there. And when God told me, go and do what you do with passion, what you feel passionate about, you said magic words. They've never changed. That's what I feel about myself. My dreams, my core dreams never changed.
Right.
Maybe projects change, but the dreams, that what I want or who I am about, it's from long time ago. It's been all my life. So is that the same for you?
Right. I like to say it's part of your purpose. And we arrived on this earth with that purpose. God put it in us before we ever came to this earth. God was dreaming us up and imagined us, and he was creating us before he shipped us out the door to earth.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's your purpose? What did you arrive with? What was in your suitcase?
Well, because my spiritual gifts are teaching, encourager or cheerleader, and hospitality. So those 3 things work really well for everything I do. So my purpose is really, I'm not satisfied with inspiring people. I'm satisfied with inspiring people to go inspire somebody else. So if I know it becomes too generational, then I feel fulfilled. So I know that's my purpose. So my purpose is to help people become more confident and more true to themselves, so that they can go out and help somebody else become the best version of themselves and who they were intended to be. Because we have a design, it's pretty obvious. We all look different, act different, have different personalities. We have our own design. What we do with that is, if we stay on purpose, if we really take the time to figure out what is my purpose on this earth. And then for me, it's what's the legacy I want to leave. And it's interesting because this past fall, I created a frame with my why. It says my why, and it has a frame of my 7 grandchildren with me when they were at their the same ages, but it's different periods of time because they're all different in age. And so I call that my why, and that's why I do what I do now, is because I want to leave a legacy for them, to inspire them to become the best versions of themselves. So for Christmas, the whole family went together and put together this book for me. It's a calendar.
Aww.
And it's my why 2020. And so on all of the pages, there's different pictures of them and sending hugs and kisses, and so everything starts to flow together. Your purpose, your why comes out of your purpose, why you do what you do, and then you find that thing that anchors you. And my first anchor is my husband, my wonderful husband. That would be my first anchor. But my grandkids, I tell my kids, I'm sorry, you're out of the picture. But the grandkids, and they're scattered all over the world. It's not like they're right here in my arms. But and it's really, I'm of course proud of them, but I want them to become the people that they're meant to be, because then they can keep making this difference. So that comes from Dale and I, our union, and then the people that came out of that, and then the people that come out of that, and when you think, it's a pretty big thing. I mean, it gets pretty powerful. So if you can make some kind of distinction right now that you want to leave your fingerprint, here on this earth, what do you want it to look like?
Yes, go to share station and make that fingerprint, right?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No. Determine what print you want to leave on the earth.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so give us the example, please.
Tell me what example of.
How would it sound for people to understand completely what exactly they should make, what exactly they should come up with?
Well, there is no exactly an
answer. I know, but what would be your example?
Well, what's interesting is my 7, when I did my 7, narrowed it down, turned it into a book, and it's my second book, The 7 Mind Shifts to Ignite Your Success. And it starts all from belief and ends up with the attitude of gratitude that leads to contribution. That's the last one. But I took my 7 words and turned it into the chapters of that book. But it's really...
because you mentioned personal statement, right? Personal mission. How would that sound?
Well, and I don't have it right in front of me, but as I was working with this one last night, when she finished, I said, well, that sounds really good for your business. But I said, she's in a health business right now. And I said, but you haven't always been. Remember, I talked about the kindergarten teacher. So I said, so what's been something that you feel is you, that would say you all along? And she said, well, joy is one of the words, and helping people bloom.
To hear more inspiring stories and practical tips on overcoming your challenges by going within and connecting with your divine power, make sure to subscribe to this channel.
I said, that's perfect. So now let's take your 7 words, wrap it into that context, and then that's going to come out to be your mission statement. You may have to keep refining it, but you find out, you think about what is something that when I was a little girl, I used to love to play with a kaleidoscope. I used to lay in the yard and play in the kaleidoscope. Loved the change and the interestingness of each variety of a shift in the kaleidoscope. And that's what fascinates me now is people. People fascinate me, and the differences and the changes that you see and the possibilities. It's all about possibilities. So in my book with the 7 mind shifts, those 7 mind shifts are my 7 core values. So as I begin to put it together, and I don't have the statement in front of me right now that would be my mission statement, but it has to do with believing and being enthusiastic for life and persevering and staying in the game, and then working with others, building those relationships, and then overflowing and contributing to others and to the world. And so it has kind of a flow like that. But it starts with a belief in you, a belief that you have what it takes, belief that you can be that you are a powerful woman. I love those I am statements. I am powerful. I am confident. I am slim. I am, whatever it is. Right. I love those kind of words. So in my mission statement, it starts off like, it starts with belief, because I believe a belief in who you are and who you're designed to be, being confident in that, step into that enthusiastically with perseverance, and then move into taking that to help other people, and then living a life that you're grateful for. And then it just kind of has that kind of flow, something like that.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's very motivational as well. I know you don't like that particular, but you start with yourself. And you start connecting with yourself through that mission statement as well. It's the reflection of what you believe about yourself.
And who you can be.
Right.
Sometimes we think a little too narrow and we limit ourselves. So if you can think big, I just wrote a vision statement on my way back from Phoenix. I was thinking, and when I got home, I set the computer and wrote a vision statement, and it is empower your power. But it really is about, it states my whole, it's a whole page. It's not like just that's not my mission statement. It's a vision statement. And that's a good thing to do too, is what is my vision for the next 20 years? You know, I laugh because of my age, but
You know what? Who cares about the age? You said you will live, and you will.
I don't feel my age. And so basically, I'm excited. I feel this is my time. And that's kind of what I put in this vision statement. This is my time. I'm 77. I'm super healthy. It's my time to go out and make a difference, because who else? I don't know anybody else talking about this. I haven't known anybody. I'm sure there are, but somebody my age that's healthy, energized, enthused, passionate for life, motivated, ready to go. What's next? Let's take it on if it aligns with who I am. I don't know people doing that. And so I'm thinking, this is my mission right now, is to inspire other people at any age. Grab life, make it awesome. There's endless possibilities. You know, don't limit yourself.
That's right. And how interesting that you just wrote a statement, visual, your vision, and you said empower your power, make it bigger. And here you are giving an interview on I am a woman of power.
You know what? That is interesting, isn't it? That's pretty cool. That's a God thing. God thing.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Thank you for allowing me to share that.
Of course, you're welcome. And hey, I love you here for sure. And in conclusion, of course, we want to know where we can find your gift to us, and what website, just tell us what the gift is.
Okay, so what I have right now is, I love it. I did write 4 #1 best-selling books, and then I said no more books. So I'm writing itty-bitty books, and it basically are like 21 days to create a new habit. And it's like simple tips on creating success. And it's 21. And then if you like that, and that you can go to my website and get at www.claudiacooley.com. If you like that, I have the next one, which is the simple tips to ignite your confidence. And so that you could just email me at info@claudiacooley.com, put in their simple tips, and I'll email that copy of that to you. And it's 21 days on creating that new habit. That one will be on confidence.
We've heard many amazing and valuable tips from you today, and I am sure our audience will benefit greatly from both books, from both tips. So yes, make sure you go to claudiacooley.com and get it and make new habits.
Yes, new habits.
New habits. I'm a woman of power. Thank you so much for listening, for watching, and thank you so much, Claudia, for being such a wonderful and fascinating guest and fascinating lady here at this interview. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I'm a woman of power also.
Aha, we did it. We did it. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Remember, to get practical tips and awareness shifting activities pertaining to this interview, go to radiantmastery.com/practice to access your complimentary companion podcast practice. To hear more inspiring stories and practical tips on overcoming your challenges by going within and connecting with your divine power, make sure to subscribe to this channel.